It was 27% of people in that survey was telling us they were suffering with some form of damp and mould.
Some of it's quite bad. I feel sorry for customers.
How can we use insight in order to be able to get ahead of that and be more preventative? I mean, the history of damp and mould within Grand Union actually goes back a couple of years actually. So July 2021 we took a paper to our board off the back of the work that HQN was doing and on social media through Quajo, and the real view that actually we weren't hearing the truth in terms of what we were seeing in our data. So a real sense that actually what our data was telling us and what customers were feeling living in their homes were different. And so we took a paper to our board in July 2021, so a couple of years ago now. We then extended that out post taking it to our board. We were really interested, wanted to know more. So we then, through the project team, looked at the last 3 years worth of data and started to really think about how would we change our approach to damp and mould, including things like setting up a dedicated project team in order to deal with it.
Gradually it's a learning process. So every day you're learning because everyone was learning the same thing. So we're having to try and each job's different. Some of it's quite bad. I feel sorry for customers. I think they know. I think once you do it, say this is how it's going to be. This is being washed down now. It's going to have mould, fungi wash on it. They'll say, what's that? You say, well, it kills the spores. Give it 24 hours drying time, but then beds into your plaster, your brickwork. That kills any possible spores coming back through. And then they think, okay, that sounds good. And then you do your mould seal and your paint. And then you walk away and you think, you know what, it don't look too bad. So the important thing is to try and stop that from developing any worse than what it already is. And I think we're getting there slowly. I think it's a long process.
So we'd done a really detailed piece of work late 2021 into early 2022 around psychographic segmentation. So psychographic segmentation was a primary piece of research work that we did that gave us a statistical accurate read on who was living in Grand Union homes. And what that was telling us was 27% of people in that survey was telling us they were suffering with some form of damp and mould. Yet we'd got our asset data, 82.5% stock condition surveys that were under 5 years old that were saying you've got good quality homes, fully compliant with decent homes, no HHSRS failures, so all good over here guys, but over here not so good. And we also had within that same survey, we did an early test of the TSMs, the tenant satisfaction measures, and we saw a wide variance between segments. So our most capable segment, those people that are confident, capable, able to contact us, willing to complain and really comfortable in their daily life, were 30% more satisfied with the condition of their home than our most vulnerable segments. So those segments that are more quiet, are less confident talking to authority, less likely to report to us. So for us, there was something about having an approach which didn't just rely on people telling us there was a problem, because we'd got statistical data over here that was telling us that there were people that just sit and don't tell us. So it was about how we hear the silence, how do we understand not just the quality of the home, but the quality of the life that people have living in the home, because both can be a real contributory factor. That there's a whole cohort of people who aren't confident in contacting us, who aren't confident in complaining, who actually have got busy, complex lives, and the last thing they want to be doing is contacting us. So it's equally important for us to start to think about how can we use insight in order to be able to get ahead of that and be more preventative. Part of that is around fitting sensors to homes so that we can identify the environment where damp and mould may be prevalent. So is humidity levels high, are heat levels low, in order to be able to get a trigger for us. But that does two things, those sensors, because in addition to giving us good quality data both on an individual level and on a collective level to enable us to plan, it also works to an individual app that the customer's got access to, so they're able to take ownership of their own home as well. I think in terms of where other organisations can learn from us, I think the standout piece for me is our understanding of our customer. So I think it's absolutely right that people should be obsessed by data of our properties. Absolutely, we need to be obsessed with, do we understand the performance of all of our properties in terms of their energy performance, in terms of their condition, in terms of how we need to maintain their homes. So how do we use our data, particularly around damp and mould and the segmentation, to design our service so that actually we're able to pathway people into that health, accessibility and disability, so we've got a completely inclusive service. And I think that segmentation is the key enabler for that customer insight, is that strategic read as to who's living in a grand unit home is a critical element of that, and I think that's the piece that I'd urge others to be thinking about. Do you understand not just the condition of your properties, but who's living in them?